Red Soxing with the Yankee fan / diehard Mets fan, Peter Apple. I'm Nick at 30. Happy to be here for the Just Baseball show.
It's Nick EH30. That's
they
the
say
thing.
the EH?
EH, not Nick at 30.
I thought he was like Canadian. I thought it was like a Canadian thing, like Nick 30. But apparently I'm Nick EH30, but my real name is Jack McMullen. This is the Just Baseball show. Today is Tuesday, February 8th, and we talk about the Boston Red Sox today. But first, Peter Apple, the football guy, the football gambling guy. I watched 5 plays of the Pro Bowl on Sunday, and I need to talk your ear off about the Pro Bowl. Cool?
Absolutely. Before we talk about the Pro Bowl, quickly, Nick EH30. I want everyone listening to the podcast to go look up a picture of who that is, because he's a Fortnite streamer, and someone came up with that joke way long ago, and it has just continued to build because we haven't really responded to it. We haven't made like a video being like, oh yeah, this is what I look like. We just kind of let the comments come in, like just laugh at them and send them in the group chat. But if you know what Jack looks like, go up on YouTube. That's, he's got the glasses and he kind of looks like an author, but he looks like a smart guy, but he looks very similar to Nick EH30, but not all the way similar. I'd say you're more handsome, but we can talk about the Pro Bowl.
I appreciate that. Hey, Nick EH30, you said I kind of look like a smart guy. Do you believe that I am a smart guy, or do I just look the part?
At times, for sure, you can be smart.
Oh, okay. Nick EH30, I just looked up net worth, $700,000. Not bad.
Definitely more.
Yeah, definitely.
Fortnite streamers, they make more than presidents these days.
Well, presidents make $400,000 a year. It's all taxpayer money, but like, how fucked is that? Like, the U.S. president makes $400,000 a year. And the NBA minimum contract is like, whatever, like 1.7 million. MLB's minimum contract is north of what the president of the United States makes.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. One's entertaining and one sucks.
Yeah. And you could pick which side is entertaining and which one sucks. The more about the NBA, or less about the NBA, more about the fact that, although, yes, the minimum salary in the NBA is far surpassing the president, but like the median salary of a well-known Twitch streamer is also above the president. Like, I bet Trevor May makes as much on his Twitch stream as Joe Biden makes in the Oval Office.
You think so? Trevor May, who's issuing statements out here. I love that Arm brought that up. Like, per his Twitch stream, like, fuck us. What have we done with society to get statements via Twitch stream?
It's either fuck us or we're actually moving into the most transparent age of media. So it's like the fact that 10 years ago, you would never have an athlete talking with their audience about the game. So on one side, it's like, well, Trevor May, can the communication not be through your Twitch stream when you're negotiating with a multi-billion-dollar organization in the MLB? But on the other side, it's actually kind of amazing that he's doing it and that we get a firsthand real reaction from a baseball player about it. So there's positives and negatives to both sides, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. That was a very high school English teacher answer from you. There, yes and no. There are positives and negatives to everything.
Well, there's no positives to the fucking Pro Bowl. That shit sucked.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The Pro Bowl, I had never watched. I had literally never tuned into the Pro Bowl ever because I heard that it wasn't fun. It wasn't competitive. And I just kind of took that as law. And then I found myself at a brewery with my girlfriend. Weird flex that I both drink beer and date somebody. I know. But
Sick for you.
I was at a craft brewery with my girlfriend wearing a
chicks and beer
sweater. Yeah, chicks and beer.
Hell yeah.
Beer and chicks.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Rock on.
Yeah.
But I watched it over her shoulder because it was on in the craft brewery, and I was like, wait, hold on. Like, they don't go to the ground. Like, there's no like actual tackle here. Like, we literally just watch bear hug football. And then I kept on watching and I saw that Mac Jones like run. I know it didn't count, but like just watching the trenches every play for 5 plays, I was like, I'm never going to do this again, ever in my life.
Yeah. See, it's funny. I'm on the other side. I've watched every single Pro Bowl until this one, because I'm like, what are we even doing? Like, what is this? This isn't football. They were playing flag football. with all the brightest stars, with no point of competition. And I think what it just goes to show is how far ahead the MLB All-Star game is ahead of the Pro Bowl. Even the NBA, the All-Star festivities are coming up. Like, nobody in hell is going to watch the dunk contest.
What are you talking about, bro? I'm going to watch the dunk contest.
Who's competing?
I don't know. I'm going to watch
exactly. It's a bunch of nobodies. Like there's I think Jalen Green is the big pull of
but that dude flies.
Awesome, I know, but he's a rookie. Like, there are no names in it. How about the home run derby where you got Pete Alonso, Salvador Perez, all this Trevor Story, all this Shohei Ohtani,
Soto,
all the stars of baseball, and Juan Soto. And then you have the actual MLB All-Star game, which was electric. The Pro Bowl, it's boring. And it's crazy because I can watch a Lions-Jaguars game on Thursday night and be entertained, but the Pro Bowl was actually almost an insult to football. The Pro Bowl feels like an insult to watching the rest of the games unfold, especially after an incredible playoff weekend that we got in the NFL to then get the Pro Bowl. It's like, ugh, I don't want to watch that.
But we got the Super Bowl coming up now, and we're going to talk, closer to the Super Bowl. So we'll get that. We'll get that preview out of the way. I know
Shameless
you're
plug.
picking.
Not Gambling Advice show is coming out next week. We're going to have a full Super Bowl preview for you guys. It's going to be Colby Olson and I. First episode of Not Gambling Advice, full Super Bowl preview. And then we'll be talking fantasy baseball and gambling. Had to give you a mid pod plug of another pod coming.
Yeah, I totally understand. Now, cheating on the Just Baseball show, Peter Apple, but it's also on the Just Baseball Network. So we are hanging. We're all good. And hopefully you allow me on to dive into Mid-American Conference basketball. I will never offer gambling advice for that because I am employed by a Mid-American Conference.
It's not gambling advice anyway. So what do you got to worry about?
So there we go. But if you want to hear about Ben Vanderplas at Ohio, let me know. Mark Sears, really solid lead guard. But let's talk about
all
the
of
Boston
my people.
Red
Call
Sox.
your people.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a Just Baseball show, though, and it is Red Sox week. We're going to dive into the Boston Red Sox, who were close but no cigar in 2021. This roster screams close but no cigar again this year. So before we dive into them, Peter, give me your 30 to 60 second briefing on who the hell the Boston Red Sox are coming into this year.
The Boston Red Sox opened 2021 with a 79.5 win projection, commonly referred to as a bit of an afterthought in the AL East, and as it seemingly looked like this team was destined for a step back. Step back? How about another major step forward? The Red Sox silenced the doubters, finishing 92-70, tied for the wild card with their rival Yankees. This team was an offensive juggernaut. They finished runs, third in PS, fifth in runs behind their stars, Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, and JD Martinez. Those three were amazing, but the under the radar guys need some love too. Guys like Kike Hernandez, Alex Verdugo, Hunter Renfroe, and Bobby Dalbec added a spark to what was already a potent offense. The pitching was pretty solid. Behind Nate Eovaldi, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Nick Pivetta, they finished 15th as a staff in ERA. But a 7th place finish in FIP alerts us that this staff may have been pretty unlucky in 2021. And the bullpen was pretty solid too, which is a huge compliment considering what most thought of this Red Sox bullpen going into the season. They finished 13th in ERA, 10th in FIP, and 5th in saves behind the emergence of Garrett Whitlock and Tanner Houck. The Red Sox dismantled the Yankees in the wildcard game, beat the 100-win Rays in 4 games, but ultimately lost to the Astros in 7 in the ALCS. They were so close to a title in 2021, but can they get even closer in 2022? Let's freaking talk about it, Jack. What's up?
I don't think they can get closer. I'm going to be a Red Sox hater off the jump, literally. I think they drastically outperformed what they were supposed to do last year. I don't think you can replicate that kind of luck again. And yeah, I say luck, but there was also, Kike Hernandez stood on his head and, you've got guys delivering in the clutch here. And Nathan Eovaldi was Nathan Eovaldi in the postseason, and you had pitchers step up. Like Pivetta was great at points during the postseason. But it was lucky. It was really lucky. That was not a roster that should be contending for a World Series title. But we're going to try and make the roster a little bit better. And we're going to try to help them get over the hump. And we do that by doing an iPad episode. Spinny chair with the iPad.
Look at the iPad episode. For the people on YouTube. We're fired up. Also, if you're also watching on YouTube, you can see a Boston Red Sox hat sitting on top of my fan right there in view. Boston Red Sox. Yes, I own a piece of apparel. We also got Timmy Wakefield sitting in your closet right there.
Yeah, it was a choice between a Tim Wakefield 49 jersey with the home Red Sox white or the road Boston gray, a Xander Bogaerts rookie jersey. I was in Boston the week before Xander got called up. The news went official that like he was, I think people knew like 4 days before he was making his MLB debut that he was coming up. The fourth day, like the day that it was announced, and you had like 4 days till the debut, the Red Sox gift shops near Fenway stocked up on Xander Bogaerts rookie jerseys with the number 72 on the back and not 2. So I've got a Xander Bogaerts 72 rookie jersey sitting in there, but I opted for Tim Wakefield. So that is my Red Sox story, but let's dive into this team. You want to do pitching or hitting first? Let's do pitching.
You want to start with the pitching first? I kind of like going with just catcher and then just branching.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Start with the backstop.
Let's do it. Christian Vasquez has 1 more year on his contract. So does Kevin Plawecki. Both are off the books after 2022. So it is the last rodeo for these guys. Connor Wong does not look like the answer behind the plate. Red Sox are going to need a catcher next year, but this year they've got their guy in Vasquez.
Yeah. And if this was a let's plan on the Red Sox, 2-3 years down the line, what's the best fit? Maybe we go sign a free agent, but at least for this season right now, Christian Vasquez is the answer. It's all right.
He's fine. And like Plawecki's a fine backup.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I mean, we're not going to touch anything. Yeah. We're not going to touch anything, but also it's not necessarily an area of strength for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. First base is a strength now, and it's 2 really young guys. Bobby Dalbec is probably going to get the opening day nod at first base. Guy's got loads of power. There are times where he cannot hit anything. Like, I'm talking batting practice. He's probably whiffing a little bit. There are times where he looks like he cannot touch shit. But there are other times where he looks like Babe Ruth. So Bobby Dalbec is probably going to be the opening day first baseman. Tristan Casas is going to be ready this year. And Tristan Casas has as much power as anybody in minor league baseball. And that guy is going to be the future first baseman of the Boston Red Sox. I promise you that.
Who's a pro comparison for Tristan Casas? Because I've heard a lot of Freddie Freeman, and I wanted to throw that name at you for a guy that reminds you of Tristan Casas.
Yeah, it's hard because I think Freeman is better with the hit tool, but Casas at the time is better with the power tool than Freddie Freeman. I want you to think best case scenario, Matt Olson, who's just got a shit ton of thump. Like Casas is a worse defender, but at the plate, I want you to think Matt Olson. And Olson, there are times where the swing gets long and he can go into strikeout spells, but when he's hitting the ball, like they're piss missiles over walls left and right. And I think that's what he can be.
Matt Olson finished as a top 10 hitter in all of baseball in WRC plus. That is an phenomenal comp and something that we could actually see. And I think where Matt Olson's value gets a little bit higher is defensively. Do I agree with it? Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we might have just have seen the best season we'll ever get from Matt Olson. But if I'm looking at a guy in Tristan Casas, and just off the jump, this is kind of what I think we'll see from him on a 162 average. I think we'll see a 280 batting average. I think we'll see between 35 and 40 home runs and above average, probably average defense at first base. He's going to drive in 100, and he's going to be a mainstay in this Red Sox lineup for a very long time. I'm more excited about Tristan Casas than just about any prospect in the AL East. Like I was going to say, just in the Red Sox organization, I know Marcelo Meyer is probably their one guy who you'd probably rank above Casas, but maybe, I don't know. Casas seems like one of the best bets to be an above average regular out of any prospect in the AL East.
So here's the thing, 77 games with AA Portland this past year. The guy hit 13 bombs, drove in 52 in 77 games. He had a 15% walk rate and a 19% K rate. This guy walks all the freaking time, and he's going to get up and he's still going to walk. He's a professional hitter that has some thump. I think he's got a little bit more power than Freddie Freeman had when he first came up with Atlanta. I think he's got a little bit less of the hit tool than Freddie Freeman had. Like, I don't know. He hit 284 with Portland, but he had a 400 OBP. I think that's where he's at. Like, if he really rounds into form, I think at the big league level, he's 284 with a 400 OBP.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking about it, he could be 275, 380, 530 and be, one of the best first basemen in all of baseball. But at least for 2022, Bobby Dalbec, there are times where it looks like he's swinging with his eyes closed.
He's the guy.
But
yeah.
But he makes contact sometimes, and you're like, that sounds different. He's got donkey pop.
Yeah, I like that. Donkey pop. That's good.
Donkey pop. That's how Dustin Demeter describes it, just as these dudes who just have thump. And for example, trying to think of a good example. Luis Robert might be able to hit the ball farther than Bobby Dalbec, but Luis Robert doesn't have donkey pop. To qualify for donkey pop, you got to look like Luke Voigt. You got to look like a thumper to have donkey pop. Bobby Dalbec falls into that bucket.
Yeah, so Bobby Dalbec is one of those guys. Bryce Harper is one of those guys too that has just stupid strength like that, and you see it with the.
He's got stupid strength, not donkey pop.
I don't know, man. Like, here's how I
gotta be way fatter.
Okay, fair. But here's how I view Bobby Dalbec. If I'm playing first base or third base, I'm pissing myself. If I have a hard ground ball hit my way, I'm peeing my pants. If Bobby Dalbec smacks a baseball my way on the ground, I'm like, that is just screaming. It's like Pete Alonso.
115 exit velos.
Yeah, it's like Pete Alonso with the 117 mile an hour ground out. It's like Pete Alonso, donkey pop. He's got to have donkey pop. Absolutely.
Who's the one hitter in baseball if you're up on a bunt? If you're up on a bunt, who's the most terrifying hitter in baseball? If you're the third baseman, because it's right-handed hitters we're talking about right now, because there's not a lot of lefties that, but what I'm talking about. Right-handed hitters, who's the guy?
Yeah, I think the answer is Vladdy.
That's a good one. I was thinking Judge or Stanton. Also, I don't want to be at third when JD Martinez is smacking balls.
Yeah, no, I don't either. That's why we don't do it. That's why we talk about those guys that stand over there.
It's not that we don't do it. It's we couldn't do it. Not that we choose to not.
Speaking of third base, one of those guys that actually looks like he's scared shitless to field his position at times is Rafi Devers. But you know what? Rafi Devers is a fringe superstar, because if he was a DH, he would be the best DH on planet Earth. Like, that's who Devers is. The guy is one of the best hitters in the game. And Rafi Devers creates zero questions for the Red Sox at third base.
Zero questions. The only question is, can he defend his position? But when you have a bat like that, you're like, whatever you can give us on defense is fine. But
and you know what? I knew in 2021, like, the defense, like it wasn't good, but it didn't suck. Like, he's getting a little bit better. It kind of
a little bit better. No, he is getting. I agreed. He is getting a little bit better. I agree. And in the playoffs, he looked good defensively too. So maybe we're trending in the right direction. No, I agree. I'm with you on that one. I think we're trending in the right direction with Rafael Devers. But when I knew that this guy was going to be a star? So forgive me on the year. I think it was 2018 when Devers was 20 years old. He comes in bottom of the ninth against Chapman at Yankee Stadium. And he hits a ball. It's about 103. Chapman threw it 103 miles an hour. And I know Red Sox fans could probably appreciate this moment, because I remember it so vividly when I knew that guy's going to be a problem. He had a 103 mile an hour fastball. It was on the outside part of the plate. It was above the strike zone from Aroldis Chapman, from a lefty when you have Rafael Devers as a left-handed hitter. He hit this ball. First of all, one thing to catch up on 103 out of the zone. Next thing is to absolutely barrel it. Hits it over the left field fence, kind of near like the 399 area, went right into the bullpen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are a few players at whatever peak you're at that can do that. He's doing that as a old teenager, a young 20-year-old. This guy's going to make it. And look where he's at now. Not saying that I predicted it, but I'm saying, like, it was clear that he's had this from a very young age. That's where it really comes from. It's like, once he stepped onto the diamond, he became one of the better hitters in baseball.
I can't wait for Rafi Devers' MVP speech in 2025, where he says, the guy that I really want to thank, I could thank every coach and trainer and dietitian I've ever had, but the guy I really want to thank is Peter Apple for believing in me after that 1AB against Aroldis Chapman in Yankee Stadium when I was 20 years old.
Not enough people are thanking us for their success, and it gets to me.
No, that's fine. I want Freddie Peralta to thank me during the Cy Young thing. So that's that. You know what?
Can you
We're gonna
imagine?
petition for that.
I will shit myself if Freddie actually was like, I got my start on the Just Baseball show from the guys. Like, no,
yeah, those guys piped me up. So I was like, they gave me confidence, and that's why I went out there and like opponents hit 120 against me. One of the best shortstops in baseball, Xander Bogaerts. He's in Boston. Yeah. I mean, this guy, like, pay him until he's done. I love Xander Bogaerts. He's the Red Sox shortstop for the foreseeable future.
It's hard to do these GM episodes when guys are just such mainstays and just like, I mean, what are you going to talk about them? Should we tell you how good of a hitter Xander Bogaerts is? You already know how good of a hitter Xander Bogaerts is. He's one of the best hitting shortstops in baseball, will continue to be one of the best hitting shortstops in baseball. And when he came up as a prospect, was one of the best hitting prospects in baseball. It's just, I think the only question is, will Xander Bogaerts become a Hall of Famer or not?
Right. That is a good question. Here's what you talk about with the Red Sox, though, because you don't have to talk about Devers. You don't have to talk about Bogaerts. You don't have to talk about, we get to pitching Chris Sale. You don't have to talk about Verdugo and Wright, because like those guys are all solidified there. What you do need to talk about is the Red Sox lack of a third middle infielder, because you got Christian Arroyo as the second baseman. You got Jonathan Arauz back there. And then you've got Jeter Downs, who, like, what's going to happen with him? Like, he could be up on the opening day roster in 2022, but he had a sub 700 OPS in Pawtucket this past year. It's tough, man. Like, it's really tough to see the third middle infielder or the utility guy on this roster. Is it Arroyo? Is Arroyo good enough to be a World Series caliber utility guy? And to that, my answer is honestly no.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Arroyo, he's 26-year-old. He had a 770 OPS last year. Decent player. Which is
decent. That's a good utility OPS.
Yeah, it's just the problem is he doesn't walk and he strikes out 25% of the time. So, but I mean, that's not the only problem here. The question is he a middle infielder? Is he the starting second baseman for a World Series team? Not, is Christian Arroyo a starter on an MLB team, right? And I think we're in the middle ground there. He's a starter and should play second base for the Red Sox next year. I'd pencil him in right now. I think he could possibly get better. Like, could we see a 780 OPS next year? Could we see some improvements? I think it's very possible.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is very hard. But if we get the same level of production that we got last year, elongated over 162, he's a solid player. But if we're talking about a World Series champion infield, may have to upgrade there. I don't know if this is the answer at second base.
And let's talk upgrades at that position. I think there is one guy that really jumps out to me that's open in the free agent market right now, and that's Donovan Solano. I think you immediately get better if Donovan Solano is your second baseman.
I agree. I like that. I would go Donovan Solano. Another under the radar name, and I've named him before, but I feel like this could actually be a pretty solid veteran in their clubhouse. What about Jed Lowry?
Is he a starter on a World Series team anymore, though?
What I know is that Jed Lowry comes through in the clutch. Whenever you need a hit, Jed Lowry is there. I think Jed Lowry, if you have like a platoon there with Lowry and Solano, Lowry going up against righties, Solano going up against lefties, it's a very solid platoon. But then you're kind of pushing Christian Arroyo out of the conversation, and I think he's too good to push out of the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I just think, like, if you could deploy Christian Arroyo in the ways that you can deploy, just thinking of utility guys that bounce around like nobody's business. Luis Urias a little bit in Milwaukee, right? Like, he can play third when Eduardo Escobar was out during the home stretch. He can play short when Adames needs a breather. He can play second when Wong needs a breather. Like, I think best case scenario, Christian Arroyo's role looks a lot like Luis Urias's.
Yeah, or maybe even a Mauricio Dubon. We were just talking about the Giants.
Yeah.
A guy like that who could just play all over the infield, give Bogaerts a break, give Devers a break. Yeah, I like that better. I think they should invest in this infield, but it's like, yeah. No, I don't know. We just keep.
we're gonna get to it. I want to end the pod talking about the outfield, but let's talk about who they currently have right now. I want to end the pod talking about possible additions to the outfield. So let's talk about the state of the outfield right now. Corners are set. Kike Hernandez Kike Hernandez is in his final year of control. So this is a contract year. If Kike replicates what he did for the Red Sox last year, especially in the postseason, I mean, he might get like a $500 million deal. Like, this guy was Superman during the postseason in the home stretch. So Kike in left, Verdugo in right.
Kike's got to be in center.
They signed Jackie Bradley Jr. to a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal.
I know. Is he going to be the starting center fielder, though? I totally understand what you're saying but Kike Hernandez was one of the best defensive outfielders in baseball last year in center field, according to Outs Above Average. He was that dude. Do you move him off of center field? And are you mostly using Jackie as all right, we need Kike to play second today. We need Kike to play left. We need Kike to kind of move around. And that's what Jackie Bradley Jr. is for. Because I think opening day, Kike has to be in center, because I believe in this Kike Hernandez kind of revolution in Boston. I do. The hard hit rate was good. He's walking more than he ever has. The hard hit rates were good. He's hitting more fly balls than he ever has. He's limiting the ground ball. He's hitting more line drives than he ever has. He had a good second half. He had a great playoffs. I'm investing in Kike Hernandez. I think that's your center fielder, unless you want to move him to second base and dispel Christian, maybe not go after Solano or Jed Lowry. But you got to put Kike in center, in my opinion.
So, I agree with you in principle, but I will disagree that you have to, because we know, for some reason, the Red Sox have been sipping this Jackie Bradley Jr. juice. And they sent him off to Milwaukee, and they were like, oh, God, I want Jackie Bradley Jr. back. I need my fix of JBJ. And they're getting it now. And they're paying him $9.5 million this year. They've got a mutual option for $12 million next year. 32 and 33-year-old Jackie Bradley Jr. over the next 2 years. JBJ, the bat sucks at times, so bad, but he's one of the most electrifying center fielders this game has. I think he's your opening day center fielder without any changes, and Kike Hernandez is your opening day left fielder. But I think they should be making a change in the outfield. You think so too, so we will circle back to that. Let's wrap up the hitter talk real quick with the DH. JD Martinez is on one. He's a stud.
He's so good.
So good.
I wonder if he'll make the Hall of Fame one day.
No.
Probably not. But no. Hall of very good. This guy will probably retire with over 400 home runs. He's a guy who we're going to miss when he's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to miss when he's gone.
Another outfielder I forgot to mention, Jarren Duran is in the fold too. But Duran,
yes.
Is he
going to hit? Is he going to hit?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. He's pretty athletic. He's a good center fielder. He's got some speed. He's
fast.
He reminds me of Jacoby Ellsbury. If Jacoby Ellsbury,
but without
Jarren Duran hit. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's close-minded to just call him a defense speed guy and then just kind of throw him to the wayside. He could be good. He's a top prospect in their system for a reason. When I watch Jarren Duran, I don't see a ton of potential with the bat. Maybe that's just me, but maybe it's not.
I kind of like it. I like Jarren Duran. I like the idea of Jarren Duran, but you can't give him more than 40 games to figure it out if you want to win a World Series this year. If you were in a different situation and you were like, okay, it would be a plus to make the postseason, then I say, you know what, give Jarren Duran 80 games and see what he is. But now you have to be more careful in getting your prospects big league reps, because every game matters now. And the difference at the end of the year between 97 wins and 102 wins is massive. And it could be the difference in your season. So I don't know, May 10th is Jarren Duran starting an outfield spot if nobody's hurt. And I don't think you can do that if you're the Red Sox until he really proves that he's a guy.
Did the signing of Jackie Bradley Jr. almost make you think, how much confidence does Chaim Bloom, the GM of the Red Sox, have in Durant?
I think he's a
Or
security blanket.
or is Jackie kind of there to teach Duran? But what is he going to teach him offensively? That's where he needs it.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing though, like Jackie, he's not going to teach him shit offensively.
Here's how you bunt.
You're right. Like, here's how you try and slap it the other way. It works sometimes. But with Duran, like, I don't know. It's hard because you bring Jackie in for the next 2 years. If you actually had full confidence in Jarren Duran, you wouldn't bring anybody in because the time is now for him to be a contributor for your team, much like what the Mariners did with Kelnick, right? There's nobody blocking Kelnick now. He's the guy moving forward. It's what they're going to do with Julio Rodriguez, too. It's what the Royals are going to do with Bobby Witt. When Witt is ready, nobody's in his way. Taylor Walls was in Wander Franco's way for a second, but when Wander Franco was up, it was Wander Franco's. With those next tier of guys where you don't have total confidence, you have security blankets. So Jarren Duran, they're banking on him not being ready for 2 more years. What does that tell you about their faith in Jarren Duran?
Absolutely. And also it seems like there's definitely a push to add defense, right? Because they traded away Hunter Renfroe, and Renfroe was just not that great of a defender.
Yeah, so he couldn't get to anything. He couldn't catch anything, but when he got to it, that arm is a bazooka.
And we saw that he went back into his perfect game profile and was just like, I bet I could throw it so hard into home plate, third base. I mean, that was the calling card for Hunter Renfroe. But it's clear that Heimblum wants to make additions on defense because in reality of it, the Red Sox were a bottom 5 team, according to outs above average, in defense. Like this is not a good defensive team. So you can see, that's why I'm like, is Christian Arroyo, because he is a solid defender. I don't know.
He's fine. We'll circle back to the outfield additions, but some prospects that are going to be really good. We talked about all the guys that can contribute in 2022. Marcelo Meyer, probably up around 2024. Really like him. I really like Nick York. Do you like Nick York?
Love Nick York. He's going to be a very good second baseman. That's probably their answer at second base if we're talking 2023, because this dude rakes. And he was a second rounder. He was underslotted and has just hit his way through the minor leagues and will continue to hit his way into the major leagues.
Yeah, low A and high A this past year, he slashed 325, 412, 516.
Jeez.
That's a hitter. That's
a hitter. That's a hitter.
Blaze Jordan has the chance to be good. He's got some power, but he's really young. He's got to fill into his frame. That's a 2024 guy. And then Alex Benelis was a Louisville guy who has some pop. So Benelis could be a contributor in 2024. But pitching,
they have a solid farm, right? They have a solid farm-ish.
It's fine. Like, I don't know if you're going to land the big. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to land the big fish in the trade market unless you bid York or Casas adieu.
Doesn't it kind of remind you of a step above the Padres system?
Yeah, less steep with the drop off, and the Padres top is better than the Red Sox top. But like,
do you think it is?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe.
I do. I think Abrams, Hassel, Camposano, and Gore is better than Meyer, Casas, York, and Duran.
We'll see what Casas is. I don't know. Casas could be the best prospect out of all of them.
I mean, Abrams, dude. Like,
yeah,
Abrams is the top dog. Among all the 8 that I just named, Abrams is the top dog.
All right. We'll see.
Starting rotation, Chris Sale is under control through 2024. Nathan Eovaldi is up after this year. He hits the unrestricted free agent market. He is going to get paid a little bit. I think high annual value, 2-3 years, but Eovaldi has deserved it after this year. Nick Pivetta under control through 2024. Tanner Houck is just getting started. That guy has like frontline potential. Rich Hill just signed 1 year, $5 million. James Paxton is 1 year, $6 million with club options through 2024. Michael Wacha is 1 year, $7 million. So they have a bunch of mid-30-year-old white guys. And it's going to work out for them, I think. Beauty in numbers, I don't really think you need to add anything to the starting rotation.
You might have to.
where? Because you've got
Yeah, I mean, you kind of already did. Yeah. No,
you've
yeah,
got
go
four.
through it again.
You've
Yeah.
got 4. So Sale's the one, and I think he's going to bounce back. I have full faith that Chris Sale is going to be an ace again. Nathan Eovaldi, I think, is one of the best 2s in baseball.
Agreed.
Tanner Houck is a young phenom. I'm in on Houck.
Tanner Houck. I'm in on Houck completely, but is he going to be a bullpen guy?
I don't think
going
so.
to immediately put him in the starting rotation? Because Heimblum came out and said that he thinks that both Garrett Whitlock, who was the reliever, but he might close this year, and Tanner Houck can both start and be in the bullpen. So I think we should right now assume that they're in the bullpen for now, right? That's why I was thinking that they would have to add another starter, because Michael Wacha and Dick Mountain, aka Rich Hill, I don't think those are the guys to put you over the Dick Mountain.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
How he could start, he could be in the bullpen. I'm going to say he starts. I'm going to say he opens the year in the rotation. You want to say he opens the year in the bullpen and works his way into the rotation?
We can. I just think that that's what will happen, but we can start with him in the rotation because he should be in the rotation.
Yeah. All right. So let's start, for the sake of the exercise, let's start with him in the rotation. So Sale's the 1, Eovaldi's the 2, Houck is the 3, Pivetta is the 4. I think Pivetta is a solid 4 in Major League Baseball.
Me too.
Sneaky 97 at times.
Yeah.
He grabs 7s and 8s.
He impressed me in the playoffs. He had moxie.
He did.
He had bravado.
Spunk. Yeah. He had some serious spunk, some gonads going on here.
He had nuts for sure.
Three-way tie for the 5 in this rotation is Dick Mountain, James Paxton, Michael Wacha. So if I'm the Red Sox, I'm not adding because I think 2 of those guys can be a fine 5, and then the other could be in Pawtucket, or not Pawtucket.
Combine them. Combine them.
Yeah. Form this mega guy.
James, Rich, Dick, Wacha.
How about
James Dick Wacha?
Dick Wachten. Yeah. Rich Hill, Michael Wacha, James Paxton. Dick Wachten.
That's the 5. Dick Wachten.
There we go.
I love Dick Wachten.
Dude, he's my favorite pitcher now.
If Dick Wachten can stay healthy, I mean, you got 98 from the left from the Paxton side of Dick Wachten.
And you got a 69-mile-an-hour breaker.
You got a 69-mile-an-hour breaking ball. And Michael Wacha, he'll give you the size, the pitcher profile. When you think of Dick Wacha, think of Michael Wacha's body with James Paxton's fastball as a lefty and Dick Mountain's curveball.
I was thinking Michael Wacha provides World Series experience and a can-do attitude.
I love it. We're looking at Michael Wacha to bring in the intangibles.
Yeah, exactly. So Michael Wacha's intangibles, James Paxton's heat, and then you got Rich Hill's breaking ball. So perfect.
Problem is James Paxton ever going to throw 98 again?
No, never.
No.
He's going to be 93.
Yeah.
If he throws north of 97, if he sits 96.5 or higher in one of his first couple of starts, I'll Venmo you $5.
Deal.
Okay.
We're shaking our hands.
Shake on it.
For all those
there we go. You're shaking your right hand. I'm shaking my left hand. Perfect. Yeah, I am. All right. Garrett Whitlock. Are we just penciling him in as the closer?
We should. I mean, he had an under 2 ERA last year. He was freaking dirty. A guy that got in the Rule 5 draft out of nowhere. Former Yankees farmhand. Just stole him away, and now we're putting him as the closer. And a deserved closer role for one of the best relievers in the American League in 2021. Yes, Garrett Whitlock could start if they need him. Maybe he's a former starter. I think he's best used, though, in the bullpen, considering we have Dick Wacha and the other 4. I don't even care about the other 4 now. All I care about is Dick Wacha.
Dick Wachten.
Dick Wachten. Yes.
Dick Wachten. So Whitlock, Matt Barnes was really good the front half, the back half he tapered off, but Barnes I think is a setup guy.
Dude, talk about back half. He posted a 5.95 ERA past July 2nd. You can't rely on this guy to do anything. Yeah, you can't rely on him. But he was really good in the first half, and his overall season is fine. I mean, I think he finished the 4.24 ERA. So not good, but I can't trust him. I'm not putting him in the 8th inning role.
Yeah. Yeah. Beauty in numbers. Again, Josh Taylor, Darwinzon Hernandez, Austin Davis, Hirokazu Sawamura, Ryan Brazier, Phillips Valdez. Like, that's a lot of mediocre guys that I just rattled off.
Yeah, those are a bunch of names that if you if you switched up some last names and first names and just like put them all in a big group, nobody could probably tell the difference except Red Sox fans. But there are some names in there that were pretty good. Josh Taylor, actually, I do think could be the 8th inning guy. I know he's not a lefty specialist, even though he is a lefty, but has been used like that in the past, but has been used in 7th inning and 8th inning roles. I like Josh Taylor. I would have him as my 8th inning guy, unless there are so many free agents out there that could have some of those innings in the back end of the bullpen. I think we need to add some bullpen pieces.
Yeah, can we?
Yeah, we can.
Free agent wise, let's talk about prospects first. You got Brian Bello, however you want to say it. Okay, you say good. I say 4.66 ERA and a 1.4 WHIP in 15 starts in AA last year.
Not ideal, but he looks like he has good stuff. I was just watching him this morning. He's got some firepower to him. I like that.
Yeah,
we'll see how it develops, but I don't think he's a guy that we're penciling into the 2022 equation.
Hell no. Although he could be up at a point. I think he should start the year in Portland. If he performs well, then he should go to Worcester. And then after that, maybe he finishes in Boston. We'll see. Brian Mata is coming off a Tommy John surgery he had in April. He's a 22-year-old. He's not going to factor in. Jay Groom is the mystery of all mysteries. This guy was a 1-1 Cinderella that went 12th to Boston in 2016, 2017. And then he had a bunch of signability and makeup concerns. And then all of a sudden he's not that good. And he had a 5.29 ERA and 18 starts in high A with Greenville this year. Like, if you get something out of him, cool. He was a 6'6", 250-pound lefty with like 1-1 type stuff out of high school. But I mean, this guy is just like, I don't know.
These 1-1 lefties are sometimes scary. Jay Groom, Mackenzie Gore. Who was that lefty that got taken first overall?
Was Aiken a lefty?
Out? Yeah.
Brady Aiken. Is that who I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's hard. It's really hard with high school pitchers. And like, you can like Jackson Jobe as much as you want, but the reality is he's a high school pitcher. And like,
he looks dirty though.
He looks
dirty. We might be making the same mistake. No, but I think he's going to be good. And there's plenty of high schools who have high school pitchers who have worked out. But yeah, I agree. It's a slippery slope there.
It's hard because, more often than not, the guys that are like top 10, as you hear that sound in the back right now, I knew this was going to happen at some point. We're getting windows installed right now. This is still the quietest room in my home, and we're getting windows installed. So you're going to have to bear with me here until the drilling stops. But, with Groom, like, there are a lot of high school arms that just haven't panned out in recent memory. We already mentioned Groom. We mentioned Brady Aiken. Let's talk Riley Pint. You want to talk Tyler Kolek? We can do that too. I mean, like, there are so many names here that just haven't really worked. And Groom feels like he's going to be added to that list. I hated to include Jobe there because I'm not saying Jobe is going to bust. Like, we think Jobe is going to be really good, but I'm just saying there's high volatility rates with top 10 caliber high school pitchers. So Groom, don't expect anything from him in 2022. A guy that could be a middle reliever for this team down the stretch, who I think could be a starter at the MLB level, is Chris Murphy, who I know somewhat well because he was out in Brewster, Massachusetts when I was. Chris Murphy, left-hander, up to the mid-90s with a dirty, dirty changeup. Chris Murphy is going to be a big league arm. I think the Red Sox hope it's with them. And this guy came out of nowhere. He was a middle-round pick, and then now he's a fringe top 10 prospect in the system.
I've heard about Murphy. I think, and I've heard reports, he has 2 MLB ready pitches right now. Couldn't he start opening day in that bullpen and be serviceable with those 2 pitches?
Yeah, I am worried about, and like knowing him, knowing how mentally strong he is, I think he could do it. I am worried about what if you get dinged up a couple of times in the first 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a Greenville guy. Like he was Lowell, which was short season A in 2019. And then he was like a Greenville to Portland guy in 2021. I think he's got to spend a month or two in Worcester. And if he's shoving, and if you get him in like some short outing roles, like say he goes 2 innings out of the pen a couple of times and he looks really good and he looks the part, I say get him up. Like go get some bullpen help within your organization.
They could use another lefty. I like that idea. I think he'll be
All
up
right.
soon.
Let's add free agent market. 2 guys I want to point out. Colin McHugh is the first one.
Huh. Why Colin McHugh?
Because he's 35.
That's why, because he's 35.
Yeah.
But do they need guys like Colin McHugh? Because Colin McHugh is a worse version of Pavetta and Houck. Like just more stopgap guys. I feel like they need hammers at the back end. They need Ryan Tepera. They could use a guy like Andrew Chafin. They could use a stopper in the back end rather than a stopgap between the 4th and the 6th.
See, I just feel like for some reason I feel like Tepera and Chafin are already signed somewhere because we keep handing them to every team we do.
Because why the hell's nobody? Why did nobody sign them before the lockout? I mean, they're going to get their money post lockout, but because they're the best relievers on the market, and a lot of these teams need guys like this, and they're not going to be crazy expensive. Brad Boxberger, I'll give him to the Red Sox.
Why not? You love Brad Boxberger. You think Brad Boxberger is going to win the Cy Young in 2022?
Plus 50 million. Thinking about laying $1 or $2.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle 40 cents on that. Another guy that I'm kind of interested in because he can come back at the right time. Jimmy Nelson had Tommy John in August.
Yeah, good one.
But I like Jimmy Nelson for them.
Yeah, no, I do too. But again, another, middle relief guy. Don't they need like fucking closers?
They need setup guys because I think Whitlock is a good closer, and I think if Barnes bounces back, then he's a good closer.
But will he bounce back? He's not that good.
I don't know. Now a couple of trade guys. You ready?
Yes.
2 in Miami. Are you listening, Aram? Dylan Floro and Richard Blyer.
Yeah. You want me to throw
that was
players?
Sexy, huh? I'll keep throwing them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to cost much.
Right.
And they're both solid reliever options. I like it.
But Lou Trevino in Oakland.
And I like Lou Trevino better than Blyer or whoever the other one was you named.
Me too. If Oakland's looking to rebuild and they ship off Chapman and or Olsen, likely and Olsen, blow it all up and Trevino can get you a return. I mean, you could look at somebody like Benelis for Trevino straight up, or maybe Jeter Downs. Maybe the A's want to buy low on Jeter Downs, like Downs for Trevino.
Do you think Downs for Trevino, is that too much from the Red Sox? Like, is he really falling off a cliff like that?
Dude, I mean, he couldn't hit last year.
Yeah, but how are we going to give him another chance? He's still a pretty good prospect.
I don't know. I don't know.
Lou Trevino for Jeter Downs? That just.
But Trevino's like closer stuff. Like Trevino is wonky delivery that's 99 at your face.
Oh yeah. No, I
say
like
Benelis. Let's say Benelis for Lou Trevino.
I'm in. That's a phenomenal trade. I'm in.
Okay, cool. Score one for Jack.
Yeah.
Suck it,
like
everybody. And then another guy who is really toolsy, TJ Antone in Cincinnati.
That's another good one. Another one of these stopgap guys, though. I mean, he could be, because TJ could start.
Right. Like he could fill both roles. I just don't think they need a closer. Like throw me some names.
I mean, are we talking about like for trade pieces?
Yeah. You said Chafin and Tepera. I'm thinking like, what type of bullpen arm do you want?
It's funny. Mark Melanson would have been that guy. That's a guy who I thought is just a solid bullpen arm who you know what you're going to get, but the Arizona Diamondbacks swooped him up. Let me think just off the top of my head.
Yeah, but you could deal for Melanson at the deadline. I
That's
think the
true,
Red
and I
Sox
think
are going
that's
to be deadline movers. When it comes to relief pitching, the Red Sox are going to be deadline movers.
I think we're already projecting that. I like that. I think the Red Sox deal for Melanson at the deadline, get that closer that they need.
Fair.
But it's not to say that they need a closer because they do have Whitlock. I'm just saying you need closer type arms. All of these elite bullpens, they have 3 or 4 guys who could realistically close games. When you look at the Red Sox bullpen, I see Garrett Whitlock as the only option to close games. What
Barnes.
if Garrett Whitlock gets hurt? No way, bro.
Ooh.
As a Yankee fan watching Barnes, he gets crushed. He's not a guy I want in the 9th inning. Like, as a Yankee fan, I'm telling you, like, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I do not want Matt Barnes closing out the 9th. Similar to like Chapman at times. Like, it's just like, I don't know, but Chapman's better than Barnes, but it's just like, I don't want that. I don't want any of that in my 9th. I really don't.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the Red Sox are going to be in a holding pattern. I think they're going to be wait and see mode. And if they feel like they need a 9th inning guy at the deadline, they're going to go get their 9th inning guy. I also think that a lot of the really good 9th inning guys are on teams that we think are going to win. But the numbers indicate that not everybody that we think is going to win is going to win. So when teams are looking to fire sale and dump off an end of an era like the Cubs just did, I'd recommend the Red Sox start calling people in like early July.
I agree. I think you're going to see Chaim Bloom make some quick moves at the deadline. So as we wrap up here, do you think the Red Sox, are you just a little flippy motion to me?
Yeah, I'm saying, didn't we want to flip back to outfield additions?
We do.
And the conversation? Yeah.
Get right back in humming. I forget. Yeah, you're right.
That's my job, right? Point guard. Let's keep moving. Let's keep shifting around. I've got the baseball ready to rock too. Let's talk about outfield ads, because with the bats, we both said Donovan Solano would be a good free agent ad for them because he solves the second base problem immediately, turns Christian Arroyo into a utility guy. Another free agent. Arm Layton thinks this is the best fit out there. Nick Castellanos.
Yep.
He will play table tennis with the Green Monster in left.
I mean, he'd be phenomenal in Boston. The only problem is, how much do they value outfield defense? Because it's clear they traded Hunter Renfroe away, and you'd be replacing him in right field. Well, yeah, because Verdugo didn't play a lot of right field when Renfroe was there, so we assume that Verdugo is going to slide over.
Yeah, Verdugo is going to be in right. You're just committing.
Where do you put Castellanos?
Left, like or JD Martinez in left and Castellanos is the DH.
But
like,
you could just put crap fielders in left field. I mean, we saw Manny Ramirez. Like, it's not that hard to play it off the monster. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not hard either. You can stick a poor defender, but the left side of that team
sucks. Like,
with
that
Devers,
sucks.
Bogarts, and Castellanos, like, that defense sucks. But if we're talking offense, you got Castellanos,
best in baseball,
Devers, Bogarts, JD. Oh my God.
Yeah, right. Like, I commit to the bit, man. I mean, we talk about the Houston Rockets like going with no center and they just chuck 53s a game. Like, that's what the Red Sox would be doing. We don't care if we make 200 errors in 162 games, but we're going to hit 1 billion homers.
The thing is, are they going to sign Kyle Schwarber?
So that's the other one that I wanted to talk about.
He had a 161 WRC plus with the Red Sox. Freaking raked.
Yeah. He is a better left field option than either of those two guys, too.
Yeah.
And he's not good, but like, he's better than those two.
Is he a better option than Castellanos?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Better arm. I don't know. I'll dive into the defensive run saved.
No. We don't, not talking about defense. They're both terrible.
Castellanos is a more valuable player to a team than Kyle Schwarber right now.
Yeah, I'd say so. He's going to command a lot more money. Yeah, let's sign Nick Castellanos. I guess the other outfield targets, I mean, they've been in on Seiya Suzuki, but like I said on the Giants pod, it seems increasingly like Seiya Suzuki wants to side with a team on the West Coast, a team that has its spring training in Arizona. Two things that the Red Sox do not have. So more likely than not, he will not become a Boston Red Sox. That's why I think a Castellanos signing makes a lot of sense.
So you said you're really sold on Seiya Suzuki. I just asked
I am
why.
sold.
Why?
The swing, I think. And that's not totally 100% it. I just think the swing plays. I think the swing plays. I mean, first of all, his statistics
Are crazy.
over there are
They're crazy.
crazy. Like, we don't see those kind of stats come over from a guy in his prime. And we already have, I mean, the projection systems are looking at him kind of like an AJ Pollock type. I'm really excited for that kind of guy. I don't think he's going to come over and look like Shogo, I don't think he's going to come over and look like a guy who can't play. I think he's going to be a guy who really can. And I'm going out on a limb here because I don't have a ton of information to go off of. I don't have a ton of video to go off of. But from what I've seen, I'm a believer.
Yeah. I will say this about Seiya Suzuki and the Boston Red Sox. I think Suzuki is in a better spot, and I think the team that signed Suzuki is in a better spot if they are not entirely dependent on him being a star when he comes over.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox need to add somebody that they consider a star to get them over the hump. And Suzuki can't do that. He cannot provide by no fault of his own. Like, the reason we're saying this is because we haven't seen him play stateside and we haven't seen him struggle. Like, we've only seen the hits on YouTube, on social media, on any of that stuff. So like, I think the Red Sox, you got to know what you are getting with a free agent signing. You know what you're getting with Castellanos. You know what you're getting with Schwarber. When all these guys are healthy, you know what you're getting. That's the only reason why I push back on Suzuki with the Red Sox, because if you're looking to make a concrete improvement to a team that got to the ALCS that wants to win the World Series, I wouldn't sign the mystery,
Maybe I think he's less of a mystery than other people do. And maybe that's just blind, me thinking it. But I agree. I don't think, I think Seiya Suzuki will be star-ish. But I
think so too.
I agree with you. I don't think that that Seiya Suzuki be at the top of their list. I think Castellanos is a great one.
Yeah. You think, like the standard deviation, like curves like that. I think Seiya Suzuki has a much larger standard deviation than like Schwarber or Castellanos. Trade pieces I want to throw at you because I think a couple of these guys actually make a lot of sense. Tyler Naquin, I'm so on. I kind of dig Naquin for defensive prowess in the outfield and a spark plug and a little bit of speed. What do you think when I say that name?
They got that. Jackie, Jaron Duran. What's Tyler Naquin going to come in and add that they don't already have?
Right. Yeah. I was thinking defensive prowess in the outfield, but you're right. They have it with Jackie Bradley. A guy that is super freaking fast and has tools, hasn't seen it pan out fully yet, but can play both center and second base and maybe some left field.
Mookie Betts.
Naquin's teammate Mookie Betts. That'd be great. Sorry, Red Sox fans.
Yeah, sorry.
Is Naquin's teammate, is Shogo Akiyama's teammate. It's Nick Senzel. I think Nick Senzel could be a perfect ad for the Boston Red Sox.
I agree. And I think Nick Senzel he's going to have a pretty good season next year. My thing is the Red trade him as lowest common denominator almost. Like you're getting the lowest value. Yeah, I think the Reds, it's almost like they have to keep him to see what they have before putting him out in the open market, because I just don't think the Reds are going to get much for him right now.
Yeah.
So I like the fit. But also, isn't he kind of a Christian Arroyo? Like, don't they already kind of have these guys? That's why I think Nick Castellanos is it's like they already kind of have versions of these guys that you're naming. Maybe slight upgrades, but not worth it to actually deal for.
Yeah. That's why I've got one more name that I think they should consider dealing for. Ramon Laureano.
Fucking love that. Love that. I mean, so if you have Ramon Laureano, so let's say you don't sign Nick Castellanos, you sign Ramon Laureano and you put him in center.
Trade for him.
So then trade for him, excuse me. So now your outfield is Ramon Laureano, Alex Verdugo,
and Kike left.
And Kike left, huh? It's pretty good. That's a great defensive outfield. So who would you trade for Ramon Laureano?
That's the thing.
PED.
That's the thing. His value is lower coming off of the PED thing. His value is also lower because the A's have already shown their hand that they're going to empty. I think Downs, Blaze Jordan, and a filler could do it.
If that's it, do it.
You think he costs more?
No. I almost think he might cost less.
All right. So our two trades that we're really thinking about making here.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. If you trade for Laureano, you're not signing Castellanos. So would you rather trade for Laureano or sign Castellanos?
Yeah, and that's a question that the Red Sox have to decide on, because Castellanos, are you willing to commit to long-term? Laureano, you can still get for cheap. He's got 3 more years of control, if I'm not mistaken.
They got some firepower in this offense already. I think Laureano
makes more sense.
I'd prefer over Castellanos, but I like both deals.
Yeah. Okay. So do you just
what?
Do you just package both? We talked about Lou Trevino. We said we wanted him.
Yeah, let's package Lou Trevino and
okay,
let's
Laureano.
Do it, Laureano. Okay.
So I'm thinking Trevino and Laureano.
Okay.
For Jeter Downs, Blaze Jordan, and Alex Benelis.
Call it a day. That's a sick trade. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good trade.
And then you sign Brad Boxberger.
Who wins the AL Cy Young, and the Red Sox.
Get some votes.
They win 5 World Series in a row.
Okay, so let's look at the team now.
Yes. Vasquez and Plawecki is the catcher. The first base is Bobby Dalbec, Tristan Casas when he's ready. Christian Arroyo is going to be the second baseman. If you want to add Donovan Solano, you can.
We're signing him. Yes.
Let's sign Solano, because you got money if you're trading for Laureano.
Yes.
So you got money to
Makes
sign
sense.
Solano. Let's sign Donovan Solano. Xander Bogaerts is the shortstop. Rafael Devers is the third baseman. Christian Arroyo is, utility man extraordinaire.
Something. Yeah, whatever.
That's a better infield. That's already a better infield. And then Kike in left, Laureano in center, Verdugo in right with JD Martinez as the DH. You've got Jackie Bradley as the fourth outfielder, Jaron Duran as the fifth outfielder.
That's really, really good.
That's really good. Starting rotation, Sale, Eovaldi, Pivetta, Houck, and then what do we call him? Dick Walkton.
Dick Walkton as the 5.
Rich Hill, Michael Wacha, James Paxton. Dick Walkton.
Walkton.
And then the bullpen. Garrett Whitlock is the closer. Lou Trevino is the setup guy. Matt Barnes, Josh Taylor, Darwinson Hernandez, Austin Davis, Hirokazu Sawamura, Ryan Brazier, Phillips Valdez, whoever the hell, Chris Murphy,
and
maybe
Brad
halfway through the year. And Brad Boxberger. I forgot about Boxberger. I think that's a really, really good team, and I think they could win the AL East.
That team could win the World Series. If Chris Sale's back to being Chris Sale, which we both expect him to be, and A.D. Eovaldi gives us what he did last year, this is an electric team.
Dude.
Yo, Heim, text us. We got the answers, Heim.
We got you, bro. Wow.
Dunkin' Donuts and shit.
Yeah, good one. Dunkies. Don't call it Dunkin' Donuts. It's Dunkies or Dunks.
Bastin.
Fuck, that's a good team, dude. We've done good.
Proud of us. And congrats to Big Poppy on being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so you got that thing going on too. You can honor him during this, and yeah, bada bang. Laureano did steroids. Poppy might have. I don't know. You got this stuff going on.
Probably chill. Hang out.
Yeah, probably bull. All right, that's it from me. What else you got to plug?
Get your not gambling advice merch in the episode description. I'm out here rocking my Just Baseball t-shirt. Check out the guns, people. I'm rocking and I'm rolling. Check us out on social media. at
Yeah, I
Just
guess.
Baseball Fans on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. We're at Just BB Media. You're holding up a baseball. I have my Aaron Judge home run ball, which you heard on the Nestor Cortez interview. This is the home run ball that went like 550 feet as my eyes estimated it going over my head.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. Nothing else that's that cool.
I think maybe next episode I walk you through my grips.
Yeah. This is how you throw a 74-mile-an-hour fastball.
Peter, who am I saying thank you to?
Thank you, everybody.